Good morning, guys. It's time to transplant this broccoli. It's been saying, transplant me. It's a beautiful day out here. It's been the 60s here in Houston. It's about 8 a.m. And so I'm going to be transplanting all my broccoli seedlings and my zucchini. All right. The first thing I'm gonna do is kind of figure out how I want to do my spacing. I have two different varieties of broccoli, purple sprouting and Calabrese. I'm not sure how you say it. I'll put links in the description below of where I got these from Eden Brothers online, the seeds. So I think I'm gonna do a row of the purple sprouting, so they'll kind of be in front when you're looking at the garden. Because the purple sprouting ones are unique, so I'd like to see those up front, and then the rest of the space I'm gonna fill with the regular green-headed broccoli, and we'll kind of go from there. I'm gonna try to space them about 12 inches apart, but that's from side to side, which means like the actual plants will be about we'll have 6 inches in between the plant, which gives the whole plant 12 inches to grow. So that's what I'm gonna do. I like to wear medical grade regular rubber gloves, just because A, I'm a nurse and that's what's comfortable for me, and B, because it gives me the most dexterity while also keeping my actual hands and nails dry, which a lot of times the cloth gloves, the soil's damp and so it just goes right through and I end up still with nasty nails. So these are really the best in my opinion. I'm going to be putting Biotone starter in all of these holes that I put my broccoli seedlings in. It helps to give them the best start just with the type of fertilizer that it is, the plant food, so I like to use that. I do find that it's hard to find this in Houston. So I actually did find it at a local nursery, but I have not seen it there since. So Espoma, get it in some more nurseries down in Houston. Spray off on me. I hate that. Nothing worse than having to spray off at 8:30 in the morning. So on this one, I had put some tiny little seedlings all together in one. They were just leftovers. So I'm gonna pick out a couple of the strongest ones and try to plant those, and I'll put the little ones somewhere else around the garden. Some of them kind of grew a little crooked like this, but I can see that there's little roots coming out of these little spots. So it's going to root in regardless of how it's growing. So I'm going to plant it to where the end of it is standing up straight. So it'll root everywhere that the stem is touching. And that's kind of what I did with all of these. Like, I planted them relatively deep, so some of the stem is in the ground, so it'll root straight up. transplanted. Tell you what, it is a lot easier to transplant them when they're that tiny as compared to this big. But I wanted to wait until October to get them in the ground, and I probably seeded the broccoli a little too early, but it's fine. They're nice and big and healthy, and they should take off relatively quickly. The ones that are kind of tilted down, once they see the sun and realize how to grow, they'll stand up. The little ones, the reason they're so little is because I had, again, like 6 of them in one cup. They were the ones that when I split these up, they were tiny little ones that were nice, and I didn't want to just throw them out. So I thought, well, let me just throw a bunch of them in one cup and see what happens. And they still grew, but these were in their cup the same amount of time as these. So because they had such little space, that's why they're so tiny as compared to one plant per cup got huge. So that just goes to show you the difference that space makes. This was the bottom of that root ball that I had all 6 plants in, so they were fighting for space for sure. But and you know, we'll see how they do. I did have to break the roots obviously to get them out, and I just gently pulled them apart, and they came apart relatively easy, but obviously they left a lot of their own roots here. So I think they'll do fine, but they will grow slower, but there'll be a second round of harvest from these. So I'm gonna go ahead and water these in, and that'll be it for this morning. All right, so when it comes to broccoli, they need full sun, obviously. They enjoy 6 to 8 hours of full sun and nice fertile soil. They do like slightly acidic soil. Hi. So with broccoli, it depends on which variety you get on how long it's gonna take to harvest. The Calabrese says that it will take 50 days to harvest. Yeah, to maturity. And the Purple Sprouting said 70 days. I have not grown either one of these specific varieties before. I have grown broccoli before, just not these specific varieties. So it will be fun to see, you know, how they mature and what they look like. And when you harvest broccoli, you cut off the head at an angle, and then it continues to grow little sprouts off the side. They'll never be as big as the one big mature head that you get in the start, but they will continue to shoot off little broccoli heads, which is great. So you can continue to harvest throughout the fall.
I thought we called them trees.
Trees, yeah, little trees. They continue to make little trees. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll take you along as they continue to grow and when it's time to harvest. And so I hope this inspired you to go out there, find some little transplants at the garden center, and plant you some broccoli.